You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
The Michigan Sports Truth podcast is back on the airwaves with a postgame edition for Saturday, May 12th, 2018. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day ahead of time. That being said, let's get to those terrible Tigers, or mediocre, I should say.
That one is long gone!
Whichever you put it. They split the doubleheader with the over 500 Seattle Mariners. First game, man, they almost blew it, but they still beat. The Tigers are an under 500 team beating an over 500 team. I mean, the Mariners probably just had a bad game. Matt Boyd giving up 3 earned runs. Not good, but decent. Not too bad. And he got a win. Jose Iglesias, a 2-run home run. Wow. I mean, he's not a home run hitter. He's not. But Jose Iglesias, I think he's hit 2 or 3 home runs. But that's a little impressive for about a month and a half. For about the first month and a half for Jose Iglesias. I got to hand it to him. Tigers winning 4-3 in that one, and then the Mariners striking back with a 9-5 victory. Robinson Cano, a 3-run home run off of Michael Fulmer, who continues to struggle like he has in the last 2 games now, giving up at least 5 in Texas, probably 6 to end up with that earned run in Arlington, Texas last week. And now, or earlier this week rather, and now tonight rather, 6 runs earned against the Seattle Mariners. Fulmer is now 1-3. That's very concerning. A lot more concerning to the trade market, his trade market value especially, because if the Tigers are going to sell, then Michael Fulmer had better pitch a lot better than that. Michael Fulmer is 1-3, not because of bad luck, but rather because of his last, mostly because of his last 2 games, where he gave up a total of 12 earned runs in his last 2 games. That's unacceptable. That's not Fulmer-like. It doesn't mean that the Tigers have to win. No, we want them to lose to Tank against Chris Ilitch. But if they're going to sell, then they would expect Michael Fulmer to pitch a lot better than that and not give up too many runs. But the opposite is happening right now. Same 2 teams in the rubber game tomorrow at 1:10.
Detroit Lions.
The Lions signed 16 undrafted free agents, and they've signed their first-round pick of this year, center Frank Ragnow at number 20 from Arkansas, to a rookie deal. So he's set. Let's just hope that the Lions' offensive line provides Matthew Stafford a lot more help than usual. There's more Matt Patricia information about his sexual assault case, which was dismissed. This is from USA Today, written by Teresa Baldaz, headlining, "Dismissed sexual assault case against Lions coach Matt Patricia had at least 5 witnesses." This was earlier today at 1:41 p.m. Eastern Time, the day before Mother's Day. The prosecution's witness list in the sexual assault case against Patricia included a nurse, doctor, a police detective, a police officer, and a college friend of the alleged victim. Those are the 5 witnesses. The nurse is number 1. The doctor is number 2. The police detective is number 3. The police officer is number 4. And the college friend is number 5. And that's according to the Detroit Free Press. The documents shed light on how police and prosecutors built their case against Patricia, who was set to go to trial on October 21st, 1997, until his accuser decided she, quote, couldn't take the stress, unquote. The charges were dropped 10 months ago after the alleged incident. And obviously that was the victim's accuser's own decision. So I guess that puts the cherry on top of the sundae for all the defenders out there, including Bill Belichick, the head coach of the New England Patriots, and Bob Quinn, the general manager of the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, you can read all that while it's posted on our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. It's all the information. It's there, but the point is, the alleged victim and accuser decided to drop charges, and I don't understand why. Just couldn't take the stress? That's all she said? Okay. I mean, she was just too stressed about it. And she just couldn't have enough courage to woman up to Matt Patricia and really lay those charges on him back then. But evidence was shown by prosecutors and obtained as well by those prosecutors. It included, no, I was not necessarily included, but it is not known whether DNA evidence was obtained. So Buck Gino and I are going to discuss this tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But this is a very important developing story involving Lions head coach Matt Patricia. The whole story is there in that article. So that's pretty much going to do it. That's all the truth I have for tonight. Now it's time for Louis Tenore's National Sports Report. Welcome back.
You got it. Thanks a lot. All right, now away we go, folks. Let's start off on the diamond with the Major League Baseball today. The Yankees pull off a couple from high win against the Oakland Athletics 7-6 in 11 innings. Cole got the win, Patricia got the loss, and the win came on a bases loaded hit in the bottom of the 11th inning with 2 on, 2 out by Neil Walker. I managed to see the end of the game. Right now, in the bottom of the 8th, Giants and Pirates are tied 5-all with 1 out and a runner on third. Watson's pitching and Cervelli is at bat. Bottom 9, we have a tie game here between the Cardinals and the Padres. Runner on first, no one out. Norris is pitching and Briendo is at bat. Did you bunt here? Didn't even bunt. Should have. Another tie game here. Twins and the Angels are tied at 3 in the top of the 8th. Pedersen is pitching and Dozier is at bat. On the 7th, Reds lead the Dodgers 5-3. 2 out, nobody on. Hernandez is pitching and Muncy is at bat. Final here, Cubs step up on the White Sox 8-4. Lester got the win, Shields got the loss, and Morrow got the save. Orioles doubled up on the Rays 6-3 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Hess got the win, Archer got the loss, and Givens got the save. The Nationals edged the D-backs 2-1. Strasburg got the win, Schreiber got the loss, and Madsen got the save. Red Sox over the Blue Jays 5-2. Yuck. Price got the win, Estrada got the loss, and Kimbrell got the save. Indians over the Royals 6-2. Clevenger got the win, and Junis got the loss. In Game 1 today, there's the Tigers and the Mariners. The Tigers edged the Mariners 4-3. Boyd got the win, Gonzalez got the loss, and Green got the save. That's Green with an E at the end. I always have to throw that in there. In Game 2 of the doubleheader, Rays over the Orioles 10-3. Roto got the win, and Cobb got the loss. In the Battle of Texas, the Astros roped the Rangers 6-1. Morton got the win, and Bister got the loss. Continuing on, the Braves doubled up with the Marlins 10-5. Mitchell got the win, and Steckendire got the loss. In Game 2, the Mariners over the Tigers 9-5. Hernandez got the win, Fulmer got the loss. And here's the final here for you. The Rockies blanked the Brewers 4-0. Freeland got the win, and Suter got the loss. And another postponement as the Mets and Phillies were rained out. And it's raining here in this area right now. Alright, so, taking care of that. Now, let's go to the standings. And they go like this. As we pick up where we left off from just a few days ago, things have changed in the standings a little bit, as the Yankees have now taken over first place with a record of 26. Actually, it's a tie. Yankees and the Red Sox 27-12, both even in percentage points as well. 692. So depending on what section what paper you're going by, Boston will be in first in some, Yankees in others. So take your choice. Blue Jays 6.5 back at 21-19. Rays 16-21, 10 back, and the Orioles 12-28, 15.5 back. I know some people are not happy about that. In the Comedy Central, as we call it here, in the AL Central, the Indians are 19-19, a game ahead of the Twins at 16-18. The Tigers are 3 back at 16 and 22. The Royals are 6.5 back at 13 and 26. And the White Sox 9 back at 9 and 27. 9 and 27. In the West, Astros 25 and 16 have a half game lead over the Angels at 23 and 15. The Mariners are a game and a half back at 22 and 16. Athletics 19 and 25 back, and the Rangers 16 and 25 at 9 back. All right, shall we go to the National League? And it goes like this: the surging Braves 23 and 15 have a 1-game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies 22 and 16, also a surprise from last year. The Nationals are 23 and 18, a game and a half back. Mets are 3 back at 19 and 17, rained out today, and the Marlins are still the Marlins at 14 and 25, 9.5 back. In the Central, a very tight division as we see right now, for the most part. Cardinals are 22 and 14, and listen to this. The Cubs, Pirates, and Brewers are only just a game back. The Cubs are 21 and 15, the Pirates are 22 and 16, and the Brewers are 23 and 17. And then you got the Reds at 12 and 27 despite a 2-game winning streak. Big deal. All right, in the West, the Diamondbacks are now 24 and 15. Rockies are 2.5 back at 22 and 18. Giants 19 and 25 back. Dodgers, a major disappointment this season at 16 and 22, 7.5 back. It's probably the World Series hangover loss. And the Padres are 14 and 26 at 10.5 back. I've always said that when a team loses a major championship, it kind of sticks with them through the next year. It's kind of like a bad hangover loss. So it's not really surprising to me that this is taking place. All right, so we'll go to the schedule now, and these are the games for your Mother's Day tomorrow, and Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And it goes like this. Leading off your early afternoon games starting at 1:05, the Rays take on the Orioles, also 1:05. Athletics take on the Yankees. 1:07, the Red Sox take on the Blue Jays. 1:10 games, Mariners take on the Tigers. The Braves take on the Marlins. The Royals take on the Indians. 1:35 games, the Mets take on the Phillies, weather permitting. The Giants take on the Pirates. 2:10, Rangers take on the Astros. 2:20, in the Battle of Chicago, the White Sox battle the Cubs. 3:10, the Brewers battle the Rockies. 4:07 game, the Twins take on the Angels. 4:10 games are the Reds versus the Dodgers, and the Cardinals take on the Padres. And your 8 o'clock game will be the Nationals against the D-backs. That game was on ESPN. All right, so we're taking care of the diamond. Now, let's take care of the ice. As we are now in the conference finals of both series in the East and the West. I think I'm going to start with the from last night since we didn't catch it. The Capitals over the Lightning, 4-2. Ovechkin had 1 goal and assist. Capitals dominated the first 30 minutes of the game, but Lightning was trying to come back, but fell a bit short in the third. And Capitals won 4-2, and they lead the series now 1-0.
Those Caps are something else.
Yeah, hope they can keep it up. Earlier tonight, the Jets, that's right, the Winnipeg Jets, doubled up on the Golden Knights, 4-2. Jets jumped to an early lead on the Knights and never looked back.
Consider that a wake-up call.
Yeah, 4-2, and they lead the series 1-0. I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but I was hoping that the Golden Knights were going to pull it off. Yeah, what do I know? Anywho,
of a surprise to me. It's just the home field, the home ice advantage.
This series can go either way, to be honest.
Right.
All right.
But the Vegas Golden Knights could strike back. It's going to be a series.
Oh, it will. I am thinking Golden Knights, just from the remarkable season they've had as a rookie team. But to be honest, the series can go either direction.
Right.
All right. Only one game on the schedule tomorrow. It's game 2 between the Capitals and the Lightning. That game will be on NBCSN, not NBC, but NBCSN at 8:00. So I'll be tuning to that. So after you're done with the Mother's Day dinner, it's going to be a good time to watch some hockey. All right. Now over to the NBA, as the conference finals start tomorrow in the East. Thankfully, and it's a tough battle here, a tough one to call, as the Celtics will take on the Cavaliers. That begins at 3:30 tomorrow. It's really a tough call to make. I don't know what to make of this series, but in the end, I think I'm going to have to go with Cleveland. Boston has, players on the injured list, and they're without the top stars. So maybe based on that alone, Cleveland could take it. But it's going to be a dogfight of a series. Mm-hmm. This is not going to be easy. And the Western Conference Series begins on Monday night at, I believe, 8:00. Just let me check that. I'm going to see if it says actually 8 or 9. I don't want to be fooled. 9 o'clock. Okay, 9 o'clock. The Warriors will take on the Rockets. All right, that's clarified. And that's not a series to call, but I think Houston in 7. All right, so now we're going to turn over to some MLS. That's right, folks. I do MLS as well. And the MLS scores go like this. The New York Red Bulls over the Colorado Rapids 2-1. That game was on MSG tonight. I actually saw it. Salt Lake over DC United 3-2. The San Jose Earthquakes over the Minnesota United 3-1. The Philadelphia Union over the Montreal Impact 2-0. Dallas over the LA Galaxy 3-2. And the Columbus Crew over Chicago Fire 3-0. And the New England Revolution edges Toronto FC 3-2. Yeah, Saturday is a big day in the world of MLS soccer. Go figure that out. Well, nothing wrong with that. Just a quick thing here. Okay, there we go. Last night there was another matchup between Houston and Vancouver, and that game ended in a 2-2 draw. So that takes care of that. So I'll just see if we can take care of the standings here. No, they don't seem to be available right now, so we will move on. All right, and for those of you who are actually following golf, the Players' Championship is taking place right now. The third round is complete, and Webb Simpson has the overall lead right now. Today he shot 68 as we head into the final round. That's a 7-stroke lead over Danny Lee. I think Lee is from either Australia or Austria. Dustin Johnson is next, followed by Jason Dofer. Jimmy Walker. No, not that Jimmy Walker. This is a different Jimmy Walker. Oh, boy. But Jordan Spieth and Tiger Woods are tied for 9th. At -8, so they're making a run. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, to overtake Simpson and Lee, for that matter, despite the effort they have been making. Got to give Woods and Spieth credit. Woods was battling, from last year with his injuries, and Spieth had a tough year too. I think last year he even missed the tournament after having a fall outside his home. So at least both now are, feeling a lot better. That's great for the game of golf. All right. So now we'll go on to the rest of the news items of the day. And we read it down like this. Predators forward Mike Patricia has decided to retire after 18 seasons. He retired at the end of last season, only to return in mid-season this year as the Predators were making a run towards making their playoff run. Now that the run is concluded, Fisher says he is retiring from the game this time for good. Are you sure he made this time, or is this just another ploy? Oh, let's see. Oh, my team is 2 points behind the top spot. I think he'll come back. He's going to pull like a Brett Favre on us. I think you guys know what that means. He's like, he'll retire and then I'll come back, retire and I'll come back. It's going to be the Brett Favre of hockey. Okay. To each his own, I guess. All right. Astros outfielder George Springer, Northwestern New Jersey, is day-to-day with a bruised elbow after being clocked by a 92-mile-per-hour fastball by Cole Hamels, and is listed as day-to-day. The good news is that the x-rays were negative, said by manager A.J. Hinch. Springer was on the ground for 2 minutes as medical staff attended to him. He finished the inning as a base runner, but was replaced in the 4th inning by Jake Marsnick. Surprised he didn't finish the inning. I think if you're that injured, I think you should have left. No. Okay. Right now, Minnesota Twins specialist and former Major League pitcher, as well as former Yankee broadcaster Jim Cott, says that 7 inning games would more likely bring in new fans to the game. Cott said it would restore the importance of starting pitchers go 5, then turn to your setup man, and then the closer. It would also reduce the size of pitching staffs. When Cat broke into the baseball world in 1959, my God, there were 16 teams, 8 in each league. Cat said you basically had 10 pitchers on staff, 160 in all in the major leagues, and now there's more than double to nearly 400. It would help bring back 4-man rotations, allowing some of the biggest stars of the game to pitch more innings. Cat said we went every 4 days pitching 300 innings. Cat said these players are stronger, faster, and bigger, and it would be just more of training them. Yeah, but of course, that's not going to happen. I mean, I get what he's trying to say, because how baseball has been a slow pitch game in recent years. But I mean, there are some things you can do about it, but I don't see that really happening to going to a 7-inning game. Oh my gosh. Right. Oakland Athletics outfielder Stephen Piscotty was placed on the Reverend list and called right-handed pitcher Kendall Graven from Nashville AAA. Graven was the start last night against the Yankees. He was 0 for 5 with an ERA of 8.85. And was sent down on April 26th. Piscotty's mother, Gretchen, passed away last week from Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS. She was only 55 years old. He played twice for the A's this week, going 1 for 3 in both games, but this weekend decided to stay behind with his family in Oakland as the Athletics were headed to New York. And our condolences to the Piscotty family. It's really something. That's really sad. Mostly you associate with people getting Alzheimer's like in their 80s or something, or 90s if they live to be along, but 55 years old. Not 48 for crying out loud. Ugh. All right, one item to mention here from earlier. The LA Chargers, I said LA Chargers, not San Diego. Coach Anthony Lynn received his long-awaited degree from UNLV. Back in 1992, when I was young, Lynn finished 6 hours short of finishing his education at Texas Tech as an exercise sports major. Today, he walked down the aisle on the campus of UNLV to receive his Bachelor of Arts Studies. Lynn will miss 2 days of training camp to attend the ceremony. Come on, he's getting his degree. Give him a break. Yeah, well, congratulations. Sometimes, the best things come to those who wait. And waiting over 25 years, it's well worth it. All right, former Mets pitcher Matt Harvey does well in his Reds debut. He only gave up 1 hit in 4 innings versus the Dodgers last night. On a fly ball that should have been caught and struck out 2 batters. Harvey was on a limited pitch count for what represented his first start in the last 3 weeks, requiring only 55 pitches to record 12 outs. 32 of the pitches were strikes, and 2 of them clocked at an impressive 95.8 miles per hour. It was a good start for Harvey. It was a good first start. Harvey said his 2018 ERA dropped from 7.0 to 6.10. Obviously, it was only 4 innings. There was still a lot of season left. But I think I go out there and be successful and get outs to help a team who is very important. But why would you send him to the Reds? I mean, the Reds were, are in the sewer. So you want to send him to a team that has almost no chance being out of the sewer this year. Okay. All right. New York Giants rookie Saquon Barkley said he will do whatever it takes to win games for the Giants as they began minicamp. Barkley also said he viewed himself as more than just a running back. He said, if you look at the running back position the past 3 years with Ezekiel Elliott and Le'Veon Bell are able to do when you look at those guys, they are more than just running backs. And I view myself as more than a running back. This is the argument. Bell, a 3-time Pro Bowler, running back for the Steelers, as he lobbies for a long-term contract. Bell rushed for 1,291 yards last season with 85 receptions. Barkley rushed for 1,271 yards at Penn State last season. You're going to compare Penn State to the NFL? Okay. He caught 54 passes for 632 yards and added 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. Impressive. It is the skill that prompted the Giants to declare Barkley for the best player in the draft. And General Manager Dave Gettleman gave Barkley his only second perfect grade as a prospect. The other went to some guy named Peyton Manning back in 1998. I never heard of him. Sarcasm, folks. It's sarcasm. All right. Continuing on down the line here. All right. Sixers assistant. These are notes from yesterday. Sixers assistant Lloyd Pierce met with Atlanta Hawks officials for the 3rd time yesterday, emerging as the primary focus for the franchise's head coaching search. League sources told ESPN a formal announcement was expected yesterday, which is now been confirmed that he is going to take the job. Pierce traveled to Atlanta and met with team officials, including general manager Travis Schlenk a week ago, and met the majority team owner Tom Ressler this week. The Hawks parted ways with coach Mike Budenholzer on April 25th. Pierce spent 11 seasons as an assistant head coach for the Cavaliers, the Warriors, Grizzlies, and also coached at Santa Clara for 4 years before joining the NBA. The New York Mets will have to do without services for outfielder Jay Bruce for the weekend in the series against the Phillies. But this is good news. This is not an injury. He's going on paternity leave. That's right. He's on paternity leave. As He and his wife are about to deliver their second child. He was replaced on the roster by Dominic Smith of Las Vegas of the AAA. Now let's hear for the cigars for the Proud Papa. Oh boy. Well, at least it's a good thing. It's not like he's, being on injured reserve or anything. All right. NBA news, Tony Parker says he's not ready to call it quits in the NBA as he is committing to playing in the league for 20 years, even if he does not continue to play for the Spurs. That according to an interview on Friday with RMC Sports. He understands it's tedious standing on the Spurs in transition. Parker said it's not yet known if he will stay with the Spurs. I'm opening up to other proposals. I would like to play my entire career with San Antonio. However, I know that this sport remains a business, and we have to sometimes make choices. Parker played 55 games last season and averaged 10.5 points per game and in 19.5 minutes before losing his starting position to DeAndre Murray in January. Parker said he'd be fine to return next season to play even within a backup role. Spurs GM R.C. Buford told ESPN.com that the club will make a decision when the time is right. It is expected that Parker will have to accept the contract worth less than the $15.4 million contract he earned last season. Talk about a pay cut. All right, now for the most ridiculous item of the week. Here's what I think. The Toronto Raptors have fired head coach Dwayne Casey after 7 seasons. Friday, I should say. Casey, by far, was the most successful coach in Raptors history. He lost the job, though, after 2 straight second-round playoff sweeps to the Cavaliers. Raptors president Messi Georgie said in a statement, after careful consideration, I have decided to make this very difficult but necessary step the team must take. Casey still had 1 year left of his contract worth about $6 million. The Raptors set a new record for wins in the season with 59 victories and was a top seed in the East before advancing to the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Raptors have improved in 6 of the 7 seasons that Casey was head coach. He could quickly become a candidate for a coaching job available in Detroit. If you ask me, I think it was premature that he got fired. After all the success that he's taken that team, and you just decided to fire him like that, he was coach of the year for crying out loud. People are crazy. Anyway, LA coach Mike Budenholzer is expected to get a closer inspection for the Raptors opening, league sources said as he met with the Bucks on Tuesday. I don't get it. Warriors coach Steve Kerr likes his chances of the team winning the Western Conference. That begins tomorrow, Monday rather. Rockets have a slight edge, being that the Rockets are, quote, a hungrier team. Stars like Chris Paul and James Harden, who have yet to win a title. The Warriors have captured the NBA title 2 of the past 3 seasons. Kerr said, I like where we are, as he told reporters on Friday, ahead of Game 1 in Houston. Our players have rings. That's a good position to be in. To me, the hardest championship is the first one. No kidding. There's a bit of house money, but you want it again because it's such an unbelievable feeling. I like our position. We are going to go in here knowing that we are the defending champs, knowing that we have won 2 of the last 3 years. Let's go get another one. It's a great feeling to give and go into a series. The Rockets have the opposite side of that feeling. Of their current players, on their roster, only Harden and Azaria have been to the finals. Harden lost to the Heat in 2012, and Azaria went twice, win with the Lakers in 2009. Then you have Chris Paul making his first conference finals appearance after playing in 86 playoff games. It took a while, but he got there. If there was ever a player who was hungry for a championship, it's him, according to Kerr. He said Paul was a killer and one of the greatest competitors in the league, and someone who has clearly pushed the Rockets to new heights in his first season with the team. I couldn't put it better myself. All right. Cavaliers and Celtics, of course, are going to meet up in the finals now later today. But so much has changed from just a year ago. For example, Kyrie Irving has switched sides. However, he won't be able to do the damage against his former team the way he did last spring to his current team. Irving has been sidelined for the series after undergoing a season-ending knee procedure in April. His former coach Tyronn Lue said, "It's tough seeing him on the other side when we played against him because he is a big part of what he did, winning the championship together. Those days will never be lost. It's still the same love and respect because you have been through so much to win that championship. He's a big part of what you do here, but it feels weird seeing him on the other side." Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, it's kind of like having some mixed emotions. All right. A little bit more here. Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles intercepted a would-be schmuck, as I like to call it. Was 18 years old at a Jacksonville beach house party at the home of fellow teammate Brandon Linder Wednesday night. According to the Jacksonville police report, a copy that was obtained by a local news station, 18-year-old Joseph Horton rummaged through several vehicles at the party that included Bortles' F-150 that was unlocked with the keys inside. First of all, Bortles is an idiot for doing that. Surveillance video shows Horton taking Bortles' wallet from the truck. It was later found outside. Witnesses for a police report obtained by News 4 Jacksonville said Horton tried to drive away in the truck, but could get out of the crowded lot. Instead, he entered the home. Police then were called and found Horton being held by Bortles and two of his friends. Horton was arrested and charged with burglary, trespassing, and grand theft. The records, online records show that. Yeah, but it's also Bortles' fault because why would you leave your keys in the vehicle and the door's unlocked? What idiot. Okay. Just a few more items here. Thunder forward Nick Colson is retiring after 15 seasons in the NBA. He told ESPN on Thursday. Colson entered the league in 2003 with an established group of players. I'm sure you've heard some of these players before. Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James. Colson was selected 12th when the team back was known as the Seattle Supersonics. Those of you over the age of 30 know that. He appeared in 910 regular season games as well as 91 playoff games, third in franchise history behind Gary Payton and Fred Brown. He spent his entire career with the Thunder/Sonics and was the last remaining player with a franchise that played in Seattle, so that marks the end of an era. I don't know about you, but I think there's going to be a time when Seattle's going to get an NBA team back. If they can get a hockey team, I think they can get an NBA team as well. A Georgia police officer was fired for the use of unnecessary force while arresting a former college player at Toledo by the name of Desmond Morrow after a video of the incident was widely seen online. Officer David Rose was fired after an internal investigation into the arrest of Morrow in a shopping center in a parking lot in McDougal, just south of Atlanta, on December 2nd. What we call police brutality. No need for that. All right. Nashville is the leading contender for the 2019 NFL Draft. This, according to leaked sources, a decision is expected to be made during the annual NFL spring meeting that's coming up next week, May 22nd, May 23rd, in Atlanta. In the unlikely event that Atlanta loses out, Nashville loses out, then this will set them up for a prime position to host a draft in 2020. There are other cities being considered, such as Vegas, Denver, Kansas City, and a combo of Cleveland and Canton in Ohio. Canton, Ohio. Well, why not? It's the home of Hall of Fame, so why not? As I mentioned before on my other show, British soccer star Wayne Rooney says he's agreed to join the DC United of the MLS for $12 million in American money. The BBC reports that Rooney's representatives have been in the U.S. to discuss the finer details. Moving away from the Premier League, that's from Sky Sports, they've added this move has been in the works for as many as 7 weeks. Sources have told ESPN Football Club that Rooney, who has joined Everton on a 2-year deal last summer, had the option for a 3rd year of the contract, and a move away from the Goodison Park has yet to be confirmed. It was reported on Tuesday by the Washington Post. Rooney is growing very frustrated at and in serious talks of coming to the U.S. to play for the DC United this summer. Now, if you can get Lionel Messi to come to the United States, I doubt that. And of course, the Red Bulls, they don't get squat. Cavaliers will put up as the favorite to win the Eastern Conference. That is done by the Vegas superbook known as Westgate. That's the one that takes all the bets for the big events. All right. Just a little bit more here. Despite the Sixers losing to the Celtics, Joel Embiid said, they have a bright future, and we're going to be fine. The Sixers left TD Gardens after losing the Celtics with a strong, with a stinging disappointment after they're losing to the second round series to the Celtics. However, there was an underlying amount of optimism about what lies ahead for the Sixers. After winning just 23% of their games in the previous 4 seasons in an attempt to build through the NBA draft, the Sixers finished the regular season this season 52 victories and won a playoff series for the first time since 2012. The Sixers finished the regular season on a 16-game winning streak and dispatched the Heat in the first 5 games, the first round of the NBA playoffs. Many expected the Sixers to win the second round, as they were without star players Gordon Hayward, as Boston was out with Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving and Jaylen Brown due to injury. But the Celtics surprised the Sixers by winning the series in 5 games. The Celtics outplayed the Sixers in clutch. Yes, in clutch time. Throughout the series, outscoring the Sixers 59-31 when games entered the last 5 minutes with a margin of 5 or fewer points. Embiid had a chance to tie the game but missed a layup on a drive to the basket with 11 seconds remaining, defended by Aaron Baines. J.J. Redick hit an off-balance 3-point shot with less than 5 seconds, to pull within 1 point, but the Sixers did not have any timeouts and could not generate a shot, inbounding from under the Celtics basket with 2.4 seconds left. After the game, head coach Brett Brown said he was not ready to reflect on what the Sixers might have accomplished this season. But Brown also acknowledged that this could be the first of many matchups between the Celtics and the Sixers in the playoffs. Both teams with strong young cores and the assets to add talent to their rosters. I couldn't agree more than that. I mean, look at what they've done so far. Just 2 seasons ago, they were the worst team in the league. And look what they've done now. And finally, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says the Dallas Cowboys will see a different Ezekiel Elliott in the coming season. For training camp last summer to the midway point of last season, Elliott had to deal with legal issues involving 6-game suspensions for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Once the suspension went into effect, he spent 6 weeks away from the team. And in strength and conditioning and athletic training staff, Jones said, I think not having to address the mentally and physically, and not only having to think of the interruption or the potential suspension, and not the suspension, but just the physical interruption, the physical aspect that Jones made a statement at the team's sponsorship golf tournament at the Cowboys Golf Club in Grapevine, Texas. You must have heard that through the grapevine. During that season, Elliott and the Cowboys maintained what was not affected in the process. In 10 games, he ran for 983 yards on 7 touchdowns on 242 carries. So he did make the best of it while he was able to play. So hopefully that he'll put this aside and just get back to playing football without going through any more of his troubled past he's had this past season. All right, so we'll just take a look at the remaining of the baseball scores for your late night action. And there's still quite a few of them. All right, so here we go. Excluding all games that ended earlier, we read like this. At the end of 10, the Cardinals and Padres are still tied. Now top 11th, 1-1. No one on, no one out. Matt says pitching, and Gorgo is at bat. At the end of 9, it is a tie now between the Twins and the Angels at 3, going to the top of the 10th. Reed is pitching, and Big Al, Albert Pujols, is coming to bat. Top 9, the Reds are leading the Dodgers 5-3. Runners on first and second, and 2 out. Baez is pitching, and Suarez. Baez is pitching, and Suarez is at bat. And
Suarez,
else,
the former Tiger. Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, go figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of the games have been completed. All right. That takes care of my notes. I'll hand it back over to you.
All right, that's the National Sports Report, and that is our post game for Saturday, May 12th. It is now Sunday, May 13th. It is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my mom and to all the mothers out there.
Yes.
And before we sign off, we want to share that we want everyone, remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have them share that, have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is searching for a wider audience that is fans of our teams and of sports as well. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast, its Facebook page, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. We'll talk sometime late afternoon. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Good night.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Mission complete.